Hi everyone, welcome back to Show Me How to Win. We're at KublaCon 2019 and we're interviewing John Brieger, my buddy. So, John, for the players who haven't played Role Players before, tell us a little bit about Role Players, the base game.
So Role Player is a game where you are building an adventuring character by drafting dice. So you're going to take a die and put it into one of these attribute rows that's down here on your character sheet, and then activate a special power for that attribute. So if you place a die in your strength row, you're going to flip a die over, and you're going to use those to solve a kind of evolving puzzle of where the colors are going to be relative to your backstory and what the totals of these rows are going to be relative to your class.
And what I really enjoy is the second expansion when they put it out. Now we can actually do something with the character we build. We're fighting a new monster, or in between, if we don't decide not to buy stuff, we can go fight some minions. So what's new in the new expansion?
In Fiends and Familiars, we've added these familiar boards that sit on top of your player character.
My pet!
Exactly. So they're a little pet that's going to help you on your journey and give you a special power that's unique just to you.
So what are some of the pets?
So we have
familiars.
So some of them are more pet-like than others. So we have the the flame imp, the cursed raven, a lot of kind of classic adventuring pets that you might see on a wizard's shoulder or curling around the arm of some evil villain. And then, speaking of evil villains, we also have the new Fiends, which when you take the highest dice, the best die for your attributes, you're going to get a Fiend, which is a restriction that's going to hurt you. Like this Fiend of Asunder, which means that you can't use any weapon cards for the rest of the game.
I also see these split dice. So in Monsters and Minions, you guys introduced a boost dice, which goes all the way up to 8 and starts at 3 to help people accomplish their goals a little bit more. So tell me about the split dice.
The split dice, I'm a big dice fan. The game is obviously called Role Player. And I was working with Keith, who's the designer of Role Player, to introduce a new die line for the expansion. And these are 2 colors. They go 1 to 4, and they count as both. This one, for example, would be both white and green. And you can use those to fulfill your backstory at the cost of they're never going to be as high number as something like a 1 to 6 normal die or this awesome 3 to 8 boost die.
Be really handy because the familiars, they usually have lower number and they have color restrictions, so it's going to be a little bit harder to accomplish the goal, but with a split die we have a little bit more flexibility, right?
Exactly. And that's something that we're really excited about, is every time you put new die into this bag, you're increasing a little bit of the roundness. And I think one of the things we love about Role Player is it's a dice game that people who don't like really random rolls can still really get into because there's a lot of strategy in that puzzle.
Speaking of strategy, John, so give me some of the tips that you play the base game quite a lot, I'm sure. So what do you usually do in the base game without the familiars?
So in the base game, I personally like to use a lot of skills, and these are activated abilities that you can use every time, once each round. And if you have a skill that shifts your alignment up and a skill that shifts your alignment down, you can use them in concert without ever getting stuck. And so you can take a lot more bonus actions if you can get 2 that work in tandem.
And what are some of the things that we can do in the expansion, say Monsters and Minions and the new expansion? What are some of the new cards that you see that's great that we should purchase?
So one of the things I really like about Fiends and Familiars is if you like Monsters and Minions, there's all new monsters and all new minions for you in Fiends and Familiars. And our 6 new monsters for Fiends and Familiars all have what we call the champion bonus. And the player who rolls the highest on these combat die is going to earn a few extra reputation, usually 2 or 3. And what that means is if no one is really competing for the monsters, everyone's focused on buying cards from the market and optimizing their little board, you can squeak out that champion bonus just by being a little bit better than your opponents.
What about if I roll low all the time? So what are some of the things I can do?
So a lot of our new minions let you take these attribute actions. So when you defeat them, for example, this is a wereshark. And if you defeat the wereshark, you get to take a wisdom action for free. So you might be able to take a strength action to flip your die over, or take a new dexterity action to swap these around. And one of the things we really love about the new minions is they use your stats. So this one, you roll a single die and you add your wisdom total. And if you're planning right, you can use the stats you've already built for yourself to help defeat these.
I'm looking at the familiar abilities, and I'm looking at the restrictions. So these abilities look really powerful. Do you recommend us taking those actions early, or wait until the perfect time to use it?
We always want the new stuff to feel really awesome. And so your familiar is just yours. No one else has the same power as you. And the powers are always a little bit stronger than your basic attribute actions. And I think people are sometimes afraid because it has 3 colors that you have to match. And I, from a strategic standpoint, always encourage people to take those actions early. They're really powerful. Use those to catapult yourself to success. And then if you need to fix your colors later by using dexterity to swap things around or similar, do so. But don't be afraid to place a die that doesn't match, just so you can get that really awesome familiar power.
All right, and these fiend cards, if I decide to take the highest die, I get penalized for that. How can I get rid of it?
You can use charisma tokens, which is a new use for them instead of just providing discounts at the market. So they have a little extra utility. You can also pay quite a lot of gold, 5, to flip one back over. So correct timing of when you're going to place in your charisma row is going to be more important. There's also things that are going to reward you for taking lots of them, or in this case, like the divine trait, reward you for banishing them. So the new cards that we've added to the market deck also open up new strategies for you to pursue.
So when are we going to be able to see this come true?
This Kickstarter is live starting June 25th, and after that it will be in stores sometimes early 2020.
Awesome. I look forward to getting my little pet. I already love this game. If you're a viewer who knows me, we play this game a lot, and this is one of the few dice games that I actually enjoy playing, even though I usually do really poorly on that. So what I usually do is I ended up having to take the foolish card because I'm not wise enough or intelligent enough, or I have to take the clumsy cards because I'm just like at low decks, and those usually help me a little bit with that. And you guys, I can see that you guys have new cards like Ruthless and Resolute, or there's like other stuff that you guys added to the cards that makes the deck a lot more varieties now. So before, you have so many cards, and now there's more and more. Also new monsters and new minions. So really looking forward to this expansion. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, John, so much for showing me this. And this is your baby. You can finally get to show it off. And thank you guys for watching.